shall my cry.
Take your time, get your gadgets out.
Okay, sir.
Hopefully we won't have any Frankenstein moments. Oh gosh, it's the full. What's the name of this our model, or partial model?
Yes, the skeletal system.
But
Skeletal system.
keep breathing, sir, keep breathing. Take your time, take your time. Oh yeah, do your little jogging thing that you do again. That's your little jogging. Weren't you the one who was jogging on the spot one day?
Okay.
To try and chill out.
Right, wow.
Yes. Do you have your slides that you want to get out?
Yes, sir.
All right. Keep feeling the room. That's how we do it. If I say your name, just ignore me when I still state your name for the tape. It's for filming purposes. Oh, these slides look good already. You're doing just fine. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
It's good to see you on Teaching Win again. Please state your name and the class you'll be taking.
All right, my name is Abolaji Abraham. I'll be taking SS3 class this morning.
Prof, your questions, please.
Yeah. So what is the topic you're taking, and what will you say is the entry behavior?
Okay, so the topic I'll be taking is under the skeletal system, but precisely the joints.
Subject?
Biology.
Okay.
So the topic is joints. So then the objectives will be to define joints basically, and then to mention the categories and types of joints in the human body.
Okay, if you start your time, just press start then. And
So before you start,
Okay, sir.
what are your objectives for this study?
Okay, 1, to define the term joint.
Okay.
Then 2, to mention the categories of joints in the body and their examples where they can be found in the body.
okay, we look forward to it. Start your time. And we press on.
Okay, so from the previous class we talked about the bones in general, and then of course we need to do a quick review of that. Now this is a part of my dressing. When I raise it up, I see a bone here. So this bone is called the sternum, if you can still remember. So I can also call the sternum the thigh bone, because the thigh rests on the what? Sternum.
Nice.
Simple as that. And then this is also another part of my dressing, which we'll call this what? The collar, right? So the collar is resting on the bone here. So this bone is called the collarbone. Simple as that. So that's just a quick revision from the previous class we had. Now, while I put some things down on the board as regards to this class, I'll give out these words to you, and I want you to just say these words out. You say them to yourself, and then after which I'm going to ask a question, and the question I'm going to ask, I want the person that will get the fastest and the loudest answer. The person might earn him or herself a prize in today's class. So just say those words to yourself quickly.
Okay. You all seem to have the same words.
Okay, freeze. So the question is this: what does cow drink?
Milk.
Milk. All right. So
What
that's
is
very
it? Cow drink. Okay.
that is very important. So now here's the gist. The things you see oftentimes and you say become part of you. Cow doesn't drink milk.
Yeah.
Cow
Drinks
produces
water.
milk but drinks water. But because we have practiced this over and over again, it has become part of you. So that means practice is very important as my student, and that is also very important in biology class. So let's look at joints. So what do we call a joint? A joint is a region where two or more bones meet. So when we have two or more bones coming together in the body, they form a joint. And we can also use the word articulate for joint. Okay? So we might want to consider things like this. This is a bone. This is another bone. They come together. We call this place a joint. And more importantly, we should note that joint is not a point. It is a region. So going back to that primary school song that will say my head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe. This is not shoulder. Shoulder is not this point I'm touching. What I'm touching here is just a bone at the shoulder region, which is a joint. So I rather say my head, my shoulder. Why? Because three bones form the shoulder. I have a bone here. I have a bone coming from the neck, that's the collarbone, and a bone from the arm. So the bone here, the one here, and the one here from the shoulder. So we should know that the shoulder is not a point, but a joint. So it should be my head, my shoulder. Same applies to the knee. The knee as well is not a point, but a region. So we should get that also very importantly. This is what we call the knee joint, not this. This is just a part of the bone that forms the knee and not the knee itself. It's a region and not a point. So we should get that very importantly. So let's look at the types of joints we have quickly. We've got this kind of joints, a rounded head and another one. So we have that here, this and this, a rounded head and a socket, a ball and a socket. So we call it ball and socket joint. So why is it called ball and socket? It can move in all directions, more like this. Okay? So now I would like to talk about this quickly before we conclude the class to continue the next class. At the head region, at the infancy stage, there are 8 bones at the head region, but these bones are separated. When you check the head of a child, you will see this structure there, a throbbing action at the middle of the head. It's just showing the space in between the bones that will later come together to form the skull. We call that throbbing action the frontanel. So that is the name is given, the frontanel. Okay? So we should know that at the head region, we also have so many bones coming together to form the skull. And those bones are actually not moving. So that means this joint is what? Not moving. So joints can be of two types, those that can move and those that can't move. The one at the head region are the ones that can't move. Okay, so let us look at our take-home assignment. So I wanted to mention an example of the following: the fibrous joint, the cartilaginous joint, and the synovial joint, part of what I've mentioned in today's class. So please take note of that again. We'll say my head, my shoulder, my knee, my toe, because joint is not a point, but a region where 2 or more bones meet or articulate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Abolaji. I was half waiting for that, so we've been interrupted by. So, Dr. David, let's start off with you, please.
Yes. Mr. Abolaji Abraham.
Yes, ma'am.
Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
When you took off your lab coat, I noticed the shirt.
Okay, ma'am.
And I'm curious.
Okay,
Did you
ma'am.
buy it like it or you
I
drew?
designed it with my pen and
Whoa.
marker.
Oh.
So this is red marker, and I
No,
designed the
listen down.
bone.
Yes.
And even at the back, I have a backbone.
Correct.
This is impressive. I noticed that, okay, there are bones here, and then
I did it.
coincidentally, he has this shirt that has ribs. It was the ribs that I noticed. So you did this yourself?
Yes, I made this myself.
You made it yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's unbelievable, but incredible. Good. Well done.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, these are things that stick out, and students can retain this. I didn't know that the backbone, or the sternum,
Okay.
I didn't know it's called a thigh bone.
Yes, it should be because the thigh is resting on
The
it.
thigh rests on it,
Yes, ma'am.
and the collarbone and all that. So the lesson was very, very well taught.
Ma'am.
Very well taught. I like the illustrations. Again, these are subjects and topics that people find very difficult to remember. I mean, students end up just cram everything, but then you've used illustrations that they would always remember. Always remember the ball and socket joint, and the joint that doesn't move, and so on. Well done for this lesson.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I like the fact that you kept emphasizing the point that a joint isn't a point, that a joint is a region.
Region.
I
Yeah.
had to write a joint is a region, and I wrote the region in capital letters, and I would always remember that a joint is a region. And so when we are even singing regular children nursery rhymes,
Yes, ma'am.
sometimes we are passing on such wrong message. Because you grew up singing my head, my
shoulder.
yeah,
We
you
do
just shoulder. Never. If I see children now, it's tell my grandchildren, it's my
this
shoulder.
way.
This is your shoulder.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why you have shoulder pads
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so on, right?
Mm.
Not at a point,
Yes, ma'am.
but in a region.
Yes, ma'am.
Well done. Well done, well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
The assignment,
Okay, ma'am.
that one now looks like a maths teacher's.
You spotted it.
Yes, because we've talked about the joints I can remember you talked about, ball and socket, the joints that can rotate,
Eight.
the joints that don't move, and so on. So where did fibrous,
Mm.
synovial come from? We borrowed that from maths people. They just teach you 2 plus 2,
And then
and in the exam they give you 2 plus 2 bracket 5 plus 10 minus, and just confuse you. So that's my little, question mark
Okay,
with
ma.
this. But every other thing was perfectly perfect. I don't know what that is called in English.
Perfect squares.
You're,
Yeah.
you're permitted.
Perfectly perfect.
thank you, ma'am.
Especially the fact that you made yourself a
Living skeleton.
yes, living skeleton. The shirt isn't real, don't worry. We always use it to teach
Yes, ma'am.
this topic. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tedu. Prof, please.
Oh, thank you, sir. Mr. Abolaji Abraham.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, quite creative.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I had to score you a 10, a full marks
Thank you, sir.
in time management.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You beat that, and it's so important. I saw when you came in, you were a little unsettled. Wherever you go, you are the teacher, you are the professor,
Mm.
right? All the people watching you, they're just your students. That's the truth. So you need to work more on that aspect of social intelligence. Yeah, to be able to relate to people at their level. Because if you give me a test, your assignment definitely I'll score 0. I've mastered the color.
The tie and the collarbone.
I've learned that. So you are the teacher.
Thank you, sir.
So you're the master of your class.
Yes, sir.
And always take that position,
Okay.
that you're fully in charge. And you used your instructional materials well.
Yes, sir.
I'm delighted with that. You could do more in terms of engaging your students with questions
Questions?
and what we call formative evaluation. Do you know anything like that? That you want to ask the students, you want to ask them, the summative is at the end. But as you're teaching, you want them to be able to follow with you. Having said that, I think I'm impressed.
Thank you, sir.
You've done well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Abolaji.
Thank you, sir.
I enjoyed it as usual, and it was a bit of a whirlwind talk, but as you went through, you had your analogies that you like to use and which work, and has been said already by the other 2 judges, and the emphasis on a key point that, it's not about just a joint, it's not just about being a point, but a region. So that's a very good thing to note. And you were describing it with parts on the skeleton and you were relating it to our bodies, and I'm sure that's what you'll be doing in class as well. So all went very well. I think what we're trying to do for this particular simulation, 5-minute simulation, or if you want a 50-minute lesson, is to say, if you're going to have a starter, try and have it connect more to the lesson. So this is just something Dr. Igunjobi and I decided that it would be good because the time is so short. If you do have a starter, because sometimes we'll say in the real world that if you have a starter, it may or may not be linked to the real lesson. So just, that's for you, food for thought. I've scored you high all round. You've been told about the assignment. I like the way Dr. Tiadu said it's a maths assignment. I've seen it done so many times. I think I may have done it once or twice myself, in which case I then say to them, it's voluntary homework. So if you see Mr. Professor come up with voluntary homework, not all the time, but it's because sometimes I know I haven't quite got to where I wanted to get with them, and so it's become voluntary. Really what I'm saying is that those who are the top students at the time for that topic, they can go on to do this assignment, but I don't want to use that kind of expression. So, so do bear that in mind. It was all going well, and I'm glad that my co-judges mentioned this, because if not, I would have thought, okay, I missed something along the line, that fibrous and synovial suddenly come out, and where did it come from? So those few things to watch out for, but as I said, I like the strong analogies. Here's a question for you. Go back to the one where you said frontanella. I was wondering if we could use language within, because you know, we've always got to be aware of people's first language, because you're still teaching within Nigeria. Do you, okay, go on.
He said that in Yoruba.
Did you?
Awuje.
Did you say it?
Awuje in Yoruba.
Did you say it?
I didn't talk about
Yeah,
it.
I noted it down. Or maybe you're drafting my notes. Or maybe you just, yeah.
Well, perhaps he is not teaching Yoruba students.
Probably so. But even, well, I'd imagine here, you teach where, in which region do you teach? Do you teach in Lagos or where do you teach?
Yes, in Lagos, Agege.
Yeah, so you probably have a few. But again, you might find out the word in, how I would say it, I'll say, in the Yoruba language it's called this, Awuje. But then you would then say, oh, I'm sure it's called something, for those of you who are from the southeast, those of you from the north, find out, and it's just something more to bring into the lesson. Yeah?
Connect with them.
Or, in a case like this, some people may not even know what name, irrespective of what language they speak. But you know that when you see a newborn baby, always have a piece of thread that mothers put on that place.
Okay, that's true.
For hiccups.
Yes, for hiccups. They just take it and I don't know how that works. You would always
see them do it.
Well, if Prof says it works, it definitely works.
Yes, and I believe you that it works. Of course I did that for my own children, because they said that's what to put there when they have hiccups. So I think if you bring in such a thing, most people will relate with it, even if they don't know.
As Prof said, it's just another connection point, and it's always worthwhile to remember what Jeanette Voss, the psychologist, what she says: the more you link is the more you learn. So, but you normally do this, and you normally bring in, layers upon how they can learn. So today was a bit muted for me, but it doesn't mean that you're scored down for that. It's just the time you had and what you had to deliver. Okay, so I think probably this is the first time you haven't done an experiment. I think on all other occasions you've probably had one or two experiments to show us, but it doesn't matter. This in itself is, a learning point. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any questions for us?
No question.
Good to go.
What subject do you teach?
I teach chemistry and biology.
It shows.
Because when I saw this, it's a chemistry person that taught us the chemistry that I learned, and now he's going to teach biology. You're very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very good.
Very good, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Well done.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Teacher, my teacher, my pride.